All right, you guys, welcome to the animal cell and plant cell station. So, to get started, let's just look at these two cells. We have an animal cell over here and a plant cell over here. So, what do you notice that's the same or different about these two cells? Yeah, exactly. The plant cell is like rectangular or square shaped. It's a lot more rigid than the animal cell. The animal cell is kind of circular-ish and is kind of like blah shaped. Perfect. What else do we notice? The plant cell's green. Exactly. Anything else? Okay. Well, what do we know notice that's the same? Mm-hmm. Right, so it's got all of the things like a nucleus and a nucleolus and vacuoles and ribosomes and mitochondria and blah blah Golgi bodies and ERs, rough ERs, smooth ERs. So I'm specifically, let me give you a hint. There's one more difference that I'm looking at, that is about vacuoles. What's different between the animal vacuoles and the plant vacuoles? Right, so the animal vacuoles have a bunch of little small vacuoles. It's like everyone's got like a bunch of tiny bags of stuff. Whereas the plant cells have this thing called the large central vacuole. So it's got some small ones like the animal cell, but it's got this one huge one. Can you see it here? And that's mainly filled with water. And that's, so you ever eat a vegetable and it's like crispy? It's because that they have their large central vacuole full. So go ahead, take a paper, let's start back here, pass them around. What do you notice about this paper? It's hole punched. And what do we know about hole punched papers? Emma, what do we know about hole punched papers? That means it's going in our notes. Perfect. So, you notice on the front side, we've got a picture of a plant cell. And then on the back side, we have like a table. So it's got the three things that we just noticed on the cell. We've got, it's got three organelles that correlate with the things that we noticed about the cell. So we've got cell walls, plastids, and the large central vacuole. So we're going to go ahead and do the what we usually do when we learn something new. We're going to do the scientific definition, our definition, and then a drawing and a connection. So let's start with cell walls. Let me explain to you what's happening with cell walls. So it's made of cellulose and lignin, which gives it structure and protection. So that's what I want you to write in the scientific definition, or the scientific words. So what does that mean? Does anyone want to guess? So, cell wall is essentially like a wall that goes around every single plant cell, and it's made of cellulose and lignin. Lignin, not so important. Cellulose, you might want to remember. So it's like, essentially, it's a wall that goes around plant cells. Perfect. If you want to write that, if you want to simplify it, write what makes sense for you, like always. But if I was writing it, I would write, it's a wall only found in plant cells that gives structure and protection. I just want to point out too, guys, that plant cells have both cell walls and cell membranes. So cell walls just do structure and protection, where cell membranes do the same thing they do in animal cells, where it kind of decides what kind of things to let in and out of the cell. All right, go ahead and draw a picture. So you can just draw a hole. You can draw a whole plant cell if you want to, and then just label the outside part. You can label the outside part with the cell wall. You might want to label the outside part, the inner outside part, with the cell membrane as well. So, important structure, protection. That's why trees can be so tall. All right, so the next one. Oh, do we need more time? Sit up, please. Thank you. All right, guys, let's move to the next one. So, plastids. So you don't need to know plastids specifically. That's why I only have chloroplasts written on your paper. But Plastids are like mitochondria, where they make and store compounds. So the green ones, which we know are called chloroplasts, those convert light energy from the sun into sugar and oxygen. That's what I want you to write in your scientific box. Converts light energy from the sun into sugar and oxygen. A filled out version of this will also be on Google Classroom if you guys need to look at it later. Emma, can you please sit up and stop slouching? Thank you. Converts light energy from the sun into sugar and oxygen. So how would you guys say that in just your regular day-to-day language? Yeah, takes light and makes sugar and oxygen. Just like you probably learned in elementary school. Plants take light and make sugar and oxygen. Perfect. So you can go ahead and draw this as we can see here. It's like a little oval with kind of like pancakes inside. That's what they will usually look like on pictures that you'll get on the Regents exam or pictures that you'll see hanging up in our classroom. This poster will go on the wall probably today after school when I have time to hang it up. And we're using it today, so. And then you can go ahead and what kind of connection can you make? You're gonna say, I don't know, you can write the thing about pancakes if you want. You can write, what other connections have I heard from other students? Pancakes. Some people say it looks like stacks of tires. Emma, please sit up. Emma, can you sit up, please? Thank you. You need to stop slouching. Thank you. Look right here. Let's see, what else? Connection. You can come back to it. We're going to move on to the large central vacuole. So, same thing as the little vacuoles, except for it's really big, and it makes this plant cells stay big, essentially. It like fills in the extra space. You know, plants need a lot of water. Yes, plants need a lot of water, so they hold all the water. It's something that we call turgid. If your vegetables are turgid, that means they're full of water and will snap. That means their vacuoles are full. So, in the scientific, I would like you guys to write a large vacuole that holds water. I mean, we already know what vacuoles are, so I don't feel like we need to explain that further. If you need a simplified version of that for your own words, go ahead. I couldn't think of another simplified version, so you can draw an arrow if you want the same exact thing, or you can write something even simpler or a different way that makes sense in your head. And then picture, let's go ahead. So you can draw kind of like a plant cell, like a rectangle, and then draw like a big like kidney bean shaped situation, kind of like the one in the picture. And then you can go ahead and write vacuole in it or pointing to it. And then I would, if I were you, I would write water inside of it to help you remember that water is stored inside of the large central vacuole. And then your connection. What's your connection? So some people kind of think about it like those camel pack things that bikers and runners will wear that hold big amounts of water so they can drink them while they're biking or running. I usually just think of it as it's like a vacuole, but bigger. I don't know. So, how are we doing? Do we have any questions on what we've been working on? We can take the last minute or so before we switch stations to ask and answer questions. Again, a filled out version of this will be on Google Classroom in case you need it. If not, no one has any questions? All right, then you guys will be heading up to the front with our other teacher to get notes on photosynthesis.